Hello, this is Ryan Boyer and Jacob Boone going over the MDA analysis for our GD4 prototype. We will discuss the mechanics, dynamics, and aesthetics. The mechanics encompass several mechanics of the different board games, such as decision making, dice rolling, and trivia. This keeps gameplay fun and interesting as players progress through the game. A tier system on 3 different decks of cards awards points based on the difficulty of the mechanic used on the card. The amount of points received corresponds to movement on a board. Whichever player reaches the end of the board wins the game. The use of a tier system that awards different amount of points leads to dynamics that gives the player the choices as to which cards they can pick to secure their victory. Players can take big risks by choosing tier 3 cards, but risk movement penalties if they result in failure. Alternatively, players can take the safe route and use tier 1 cards to gain a slow but steady movement to victory. The nature of the game and the use of mechanics that are not based on skill creates a casual environment that encourages players to have fun and dissipates the atmosphere of competition between them. And now Ryan's going to take over with the aesthetics.
Thank you, Jacob. The 3 aesthetics for the game are challenge, fantasy, and fellowship. The title, Knights of the Round Table, implies that players are working together to achieve a common goal rather than working against or in competition with one another. This is where the aesthetic of fellowship is fulfilled. On the other hand, players are still going head to head to see who can achieve this goal the fastest, which is where the aesthetic of challenge comes into play. Finally, the setting in a medieval world in which players interact with mythical creatures and go on epic quests fulfills the aesthetic of fantasy, as it provides adventures that would otherwise be impossible in the real world. What follows is the gameplay footage of our prototype recorded during our group's prototype presentation on Monday, November 29th, 2021. What kind of card would you like to select first, Cameron?
Since I'm red, I will choose a tier 3 card.
You select a tier 3, good start. All right. So, tier 3. Do you want to explain this card before we go ahead and get started?
Yeah, I'll explain it. So, a tier 3 card is a card centered around trivia. Based around Knights of the Round Table, Arthurian legends, stuff like that. And you get a timer, and it'll be for within like 15 seconds. And if you answer it quickly, you get more points if you don't answer it quickly.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, these questions are based on the it's based on the Sword and the Stone fable. Okay, so for your question, finding the Holy Blade. You discover a blade to rival Excalibur's power. However, this power is hidden to you unless you can answer the prophesized question burned into the blade. What was Arthur in relation to Sir Kay? Your time starts...
Well, you got to read the answer choices, right?
Oh, right. What was Arthur in relation to Sir Kay? A, his knight, B, his page, C, his squire, or D, his father? Your time starts now.
I do believe it is C, his squire.
C, his squire. That is correct. And you answered within the 10-second mark, so you get plus 2 points. Go ahead and move ahead 3 spaces on the board. Andrew, if you want to discuss...
Every tier 3 you get correct, you move up 3 spaces. If you get a tier 3 wrong, though, you will move back 1 space. But if you move back 1 space on the first space, he wouldn't have moved at all.
Right. And that's up to 3 spaces for the tier 3, right?
Right. So as the time limit says, if you answer between 10 to 15 seconds, you get plus 2 movement, or plus 3 movement, actually. And 5 to 9 seconds, you go up 2 spaces, and 0 to 4 seconds, you only go up 1 space.
All right. Yep. All right. So, now Jake, you're up next.
All right. So I'm gonna do a tier 2, which is the yellow cards here.
I know I skipped you, Andrew. We'll come back to you though.
That's fine.
Right. So we'd like to very briefly explain the tier 2 card.
Yeah, so the tier 2s is our medium difficulty. It utilizes a dice roll in your answer. So like whatever the card says at the end, you'll roll our d20 here. And depending on the outcome of that dice determines like what happens in your turn. It could be good, it could be bad, it could be pretty much neutral. And we do have a couple of cards that